My name's Devraj, welcome back to Bioenergetics. An occasional series, well, weekly, fortnightly, looking at different areas of a body, looking at different areas of a personality and how we can work on them with bioenergetics. Slowly bringing our whole body right behind everything we do so we can be absolutely full power and really give it with all our heart and our guts. Today I want to look at a question by a chap called Mujahid. It may not be a guy, but he wrote into me a few weeks ago and said, can you do something on the belly, on tension in the belly? And I thought, great. I don't know why I'm talking in this quiet voice, but I think it's because I'm going to step back in a minute so you can see my belly, and just this funny head angle feels like that. Anyway, let's do it. Okay, so we're going to look at the belly today. First thing to understand about the belly, because it's good to understand a bit about different areas of your body and why sometimes we can be a bit trippy about them. The belly is really your animal power center. It's simple as that. It's the part of the body that really is like a fire. You know, it's pumping energy through your system, or ideally, if it's working properly, it's doing that. And that is a bit scary. You know, it's like a liquid, fiery, spontaneous energy. The belly is kind of like a Muslim terrorist inside. Maybe I shouldn't say that these days, but what the hell? I'm Anglo-Iranian. For anyone who's worried, maybe that helps. But basically, it's like this twitchy, nervous energy that could just kick off at any moment. You know, I used to know a lot of football guys like that back in the day. And this is the fire in the belly, you know, it's unpredictable. And that is tricky for people in a social context. It's also tricky for you if you learn to be a bit of a nice guy, man or woman in your life. To have this fiery, reactive energy in your system is scary. And so we learn to do typically one of two things. One of two things to keep our belly safe, in a sense, socially safe, make it a socially acceptable place for the world. And the first one of those is to create a lot of tension in the belly, basically trying to control it from the mind, creating a lot of muscular tension around the belly to keep it under control, keep a little kind of like a fortress or a castle around it, to stop it getting out and really, you know, fucking up our life. That's what we're concerned about, this fiery reactivity. About 30 or 40 years ago, a very famous therapist over in America called Arthur Yanoff wrote a book called The Primal Scream, and it talked about the primal knot, and this concept moved out into the world. Quite a lot of people heard of it, the primal knot around here, this ball of tension where we try and keep this belly energy under control. So that's one way that we deal with the belly. The second way that we classically see people dealing with the belly is by padding the belly out, becoming fat, overeating basically. Like this, we insulate ourselves from this fiery reactivity. And obviously there's a hell of a lot of that out in the world. You only have to walk around, I was going to say the average shopping centre, you'll see a great deal of flab about the place, because this fieriness is scary. And so we learn as kids that we can damp it down by eating a bit too much, and it becomes an addiction. So those are two ways that we avoid the fiery intensity of the belly: keeping it under a lot of muscular control, or over padding it out with a lot of flab and fat. But of course, ideally, we'd like to have access to all this energy and feel okay with it. And that can be quite a journey in reality, you know. Slowly opening up this area of the body, accepting the fiery reactivity that comes with it, and learning how to integrate this positively into our world, into our life. So how can we do that? How can we do that? How can we start to open up this belly, reduce the tension and feel okay with it? The first exercise we're going to look at is really breathing down into the belly and trying to make a sound from there. So you're going to put your feet about shoulder width apart, or maybe a bit wider is okay, and have the outsides of your feet roughly parallel and your knees a bit bent. And you just start, and it's great to do this in the morning, but you can do it at any time of the day. Start to breathe quite deep, trying to access your belly and trying to feel down into your belly and making a bit of sound from there on the out breath. Eyes can be open or closed. Let's give it a go and see what it feels like. Maybe I'm making myself look a right idiot, but you have to get used to that if you want to work with the belly, unfortunately. And it does feel pretty good. What I'm trying to do is trying to make my breath and my awareness penetrate down into the guts. I have a lot of belly tension, a hell of a lot of belly tension, and slowly I start to learn how to take it off. I never was so overweight, a little bit at times, but I have a lot of belly tension, a lot of control down here. So I'm pushing with my awareness to get down there, down and feel that energy in the guts, and I can feel it and make a sound. So give this a try either now or afterwards. Do it for 5-10 minutes. If it feels too much at any time, like you're getting a head rush, a big head rush, lay off a bit, but don't give up. Come back to it the next day or later. Keep practicing. Head rushes or extreme emotions, you need to lay off a bit, but don't give up, because something is happening. Something positive is happening. A lot of people, they get a bit scared and they think, oh, I'm not doing that again, not doing bioenergetics. No, go back to my yoga or something. Don't do that. Something good is happening, and you just need to stick with it and reassure yourself a bit. Feel free to send me in questions based around your experience. I'm absolutely up for supporting people as much as I can. So once again, breathing down into the belly, knees a little bit bent. You can try and make it like a growling sound. Trying to get a bit of vibration going in your belly is good. What I'm noticing while I'm doing it is I can feel a bit of tension in my upper back and my neck. And this is normal, because this is the areas that get tense when the mind is trying to exert a lot of control over our natural feelings and our natural fieriness in the belly. So when you start to get this, you can become aware of tension in your upper body. It's good, basically. Don't take this again. Sometimes people start to realize, wow, I'm really tense. This is not good to do this exercise. I need to stop. But actually, you've probably been going through life unaware of just how much tension there is in the upper part of your body. And now you're becoming aware of it. Your awareness is actually increasing. So continue. Make it safe for yourself and continue. So that's breathing down into your belly. That's great. Now, what else can we do about the belly and tension in the belly? Now, I didn't mention it just now, but apart from your mind, the head, another area which is very, very important when you were considering the belly, you've got the mind and the head, is the throat. The throat essentially is the governor area of your body's whole energy system, if you like. I'm not super into all the esoterics and spiritual chakra stuff, but basically, if your throat is blocked and you don't feel okay to express yourself, then essentially the rest of your energy will be restricted all the way around your body and up and down this central channel that the esoteric people talk about, from the base up to the crown of the head. The chakra system, all those different words for it in Kabbalah, that kind of thing. But the bottom line is you have to kind of get your throat more open. And so the easiest way to do this, really, one thing you can do is to start to massage your throat and feel, especially massaging around here. Can make my throat spasm and reflex, gut reflex a little bit, gag reflex rather. Massaging around your throat and trying to be okay with that. Massaging around the back of the neck, also good. You know, you're opening up for me, you know, this whole area where when I was younger, really trying to keep everything under control. You know, my childhood was quite a mess in some ways, and I learned to keep everything under control. That was my coping strategy. Okay, so we can do a lot of massage around here. The other thing we can do, and this is a little bit controversial in our culture, and that's the gag reflex. Let's just get ourselves a little bit more upright. Gag reflex basically means taking two fingers from one of your either left or right hand, whichever is most convenient, and stroking inside around here until your body starts to basically give this gag reflex. And this, you know, for me, pound for pound, this is one of the healthiest things you can do in your life, is to get your throat open. A couple of little caveats: if you've got a history of eating disorders or something like this, and maybe you used to make yourself throw up when you were younger or even more recently after eating, then you need to be careful if you're going to do this. Obviously, you don't want to, you know, trigger old behaviors which aren't helpful for your development. So be careful. But if you don't have that history, or you do have that history but you feel okay with it, then gag reflex, I can't tell you how good this stuff is. Let's get myself a bit of tissue. And all you have to do is take 2 fingers, usually first 2 fingers. Get a bit of saliva in there first. Reach right down inside and give your throat, let it give that reflex, a good spasm from the throat. It should feel good, basically, you know. I mean, other feelings can come up as well, but basically it should feel good, like, some tension has come off there. For me, pound for pound, gag reflex is one awesome exercise, So if you stick with this stuff, with this breathing down into your belly, with accepting the fieriness implicit in the gut, and the gag reflex and throat massage, this is going to help to relieve belly tension over time. Okay, I hope that's been a useful video. This has been a useful video for you. My name's Devaraj, and I'll see you again soon.